But it wasn't until they tried their current ketogenic, primarily animal-based diet that they went into near complete or complete clinical remission. And we quantified this using a validated inflammatory bowel disease quality of life questionnaire, the IBDQ-32, which scores across 4 domains: bowel symptoms, systemic symptoms, and emotional and social impacts, with a total possible score of 224, with 224 being ideal, i.e. no symptoms whatsoever. And the average score pre-diet was 95, which reflects horrible quality of life. And scores increased after diet adoption on average by a stunning 121 points to an average of 216 out of 224, i.e. clinical remission. These cases were also diverse, including 6 cases of ulcerative colitis and 4 of Crohn's disease, including male and female patients, patients aged in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, with diverse dietary energy requirements, body shapes and sizes, and so on. However, at present, all of these patients consume a primarily animal-based ketogenic diet, with between 67% and 82% calories from fat, 21 grams or less of dietary carbohydrates, with many strictly carnivore. These patients' diets saved their lives, and they speak to their own stories. For example, patient 1 is a 62-year-old male. He was first diagnosed at age 30 as a second-year law student, and he suffered for decades. And he's now disease-free, as confirmed by colonoscopy. And he says that his keto carnivore diet let him forget that he had Crohn's disease. The decades that he dealt with Crohn's are like another lifetime, in his words. Patient 3 is a 31-year-old female, with an incredible family history of inflammatory bowel diseases, including in her brother and her sister, and in 10 first cousins, I know, big family, who herself was diagnosed at age 20 while pregnant, and who experienced a 4-fold drop in inflammatory markers over her first months on a carnivore diet. And reports, within days my bowel movements changed from loose to normal, and within 2 weeks I have more energy than I did the past 10 years. When I last spoke to my doctor, he said that if I'm feeling incredible, he doesn't want to put me back on medications. She had previously been on anti-TNF-alpha biologics for years. And then she says, and that was so encouraging, especially since he had been really skeptical of the diet beforehand. I could go on, giving the reports of the other 8 patients, although you can read those yourself, but you get the point. These are lives that were saved. And these stories have the potential to change lives, now and through inspiring future research. The fact remains, extreme diets are not socially accepted. Patients are often dissuaded from experimentation, and standard of care cannot recommend these diets until rigorous controlled trials are performed, which this is not. And I'm not pretending it is. Of course, this is a retrospective case series with selection bias and without a control group. I'm not trying to brush that under the rug. It's what we could do with the resources available to us, by which I mean 0 funding dollars, but access to a social network of real people whose lives have been saved and who want to tell their stories so they can save more lives. What this is, or what this should be, is a wake-up call, a PubMed ID screaming at medicine we need to invest in this work. Listen to what we, myself, Dr. Norwitz, and my colleague, Dr. Professor Adrian Sotomota, are actually arguing. We are not arguing that carnivore is the best human diet, that fiber is bad, that keto is supreme, or any of that. We are arguing that ketogenic, including carnivore diets, could have therapeutic efficacy for inflammatory bowel disease and very likely other autoimmune and inflammatory conditions. And we owe it to science and to patients to explore this possibility by investing in more research.